Move on to our next panel session, the panel number 2 on big data and data analytics, revolutionizing the customer experience. And we have a wonderful panel of experts here. And before I introduce the esteemed panel members, few quick pointers of discussion which they are going to cover. How to tap into customer data that you are collecting, how big data helping corporates to improve customer experience, understanding customer behavior and converting it into actionable insights through big data and many more. So please help me welcome with a big round of applause our esteemed panel members in the order of the sequence. Joining us first on stage, Mr. Suresh K, Head of IT from Tata AIG Insurance. A big round of applause to Suresh ji. Please have your seat, sir. Joining next in the panel, we have Mr. Shantanu Garg, Vice President Marketing from ADITYA, BIRLA, GRASIM Industries. A big round of applause to Shantanu. Shantanu, welcome to the panel. Joining next, we have Mr. Mitesh Jain, Co-founder and CTO from Symbo Insurance. A big round of applause to Mitesh ji. Welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Mr. Joiestin David, Head of Service Excellence from Ashok, Leyland. A big round of applause to Mr. David. Welcome to the panel. Joining next in this panel, we have Mr. Harkaran Sethi, General Manager, Radisson Blue, Mumbai International Airport. A big round of applause to Mr. Sethi. Welcome to the panel, Mr. Sethi. Please have your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome the honorable moderator for this panel, Mr. Dilpreet Singh, Head Loyalty CRM from ITC. A big round of applause to Mr. Singh. Welcome to the panel, Mr. Singh. And as you can see, it's a fantastic panel here. So all over to you, Mr. Singh, and looking forward to a great session.
Thank you very much. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So when we are talking about the customer experience, so like I believe everyone would agree to that thing. We are living in an experience economy where the brands which are catering to different kind of consumers who are using, I would say, connected devices and are part of the databases of multiple brands. So when the brands are using, the customers are using any brand, so they are comparing the experience which they are getting across the industries and not within the industry. So when I'm saying industry, so I normally refer to, like, let's suppose talking about the hospitality industry. So if any person is staying in any of the, I would say, a luxury hospitality chain, let's say Taj, ITC, Radisson, they will not be only be comparing it with the competitor in the same industry. But today, the customer would want the same kind of experience which they are getting across the industries also. So like if I'm an Apple user, if I'm a Netflix user, so the kind of browsing experience which I'm getting, so same would be the case when I'm booking a hotel on the brand website of that particular hotel. So that would be the case. Now talking about the customer experience, I believe like customer experience can only be delivered when the brands can work on 3 important pillars, which is data, technology, and content. And today we are here to talk about the first pillar, which is data, which has been an integral part of every business strategy, every brand strategy to make sure that they are catering into the right set of business, the users which are there. Along with that, they are also not only being able to acquire the customer, but with thorough analysis of the data which customer is giving to them, they are able to kind of derive some actionable insights, basis which they are also able to retain the customer. So taking this into consideration, we will just open the session. We will start with Shantanu first. So Shantanu, again, talking about the data, so I believe like the first and foremost important point is the data collection. So if you could just share your inputs and your experience in terms of how the data is being collected in your organization and what are some of the primary sources through which you are, I would say, capturing the data. Not only capturing, because like again, it's not only about the quantity, but also the quality and how you are maintaining the quality of the data which you are getting captured.
Thanks, Dilpreet. Am I audible? Am I audible? Hello? Yeah. Okay, thanks for the question. So let me first give you a context. I belong to GRASIM Pulp and Fiber family. It's a hardcore commodity B2B kind of a product. Data collection is, should I say, not up to the scale as a B2C would have, because you have multiple customers coming to you. We have a set group of customers whom we go back repeatedly to. So in that sense, data collection is a bit of a ease part because these customers trust us and they know what we are capturing. So that becomes a bit easy. However, the challenge then becomes about what is the depth of data that you can have. Because at the end of the day, I cannot really run a, should I say, a long-term relationship at the skimming of a data which is at a very superficial level. So what we do is we have actually done a customer journey map, and we have identified all the touch points that are there by a prominent way, which are the critical path, as well as what we have done is we have created certain new avenues for customers to come in and provide that data to us either at their will or without them really realizing it, in the sense when they're on my website, when they're on our social Instagram pages, what are they liking, what are they not liking. So that is one area. Certainly, all the transaction data that is there through the CRM gets captured. So we have all the accounts related data, what is their payment patterns, what is the ordering process, so we can analyze that from there. The third step is we have a program called Mission Happiness, which is a consumer feedback cum engagement module, wherein we encourage customers to really speak about their experiences at a periodic or at a transactional level. And to my delight, customers, when we started around 6 years back, they were not ready about it that much because they were kind of a little speculative about what and how will the business treat the data. Because we are the sole players in India, so it's also a legal, should I say, consideration to that whole aspect. But what has happened over the period of last 6 years, customers have found whatever they have spoken has been heard by the business and acted upon. So there's a sense of confidence which has come up. And now, to my delight, customers really come and speak to us by themselves. So that is another avenue. The fourth avenue is the website traffic that we have. And then we keep doing on a periodic basis either blind or sponsored surveys. And finally, we, at a 6-month basis, we always do a panel discussion with our key customers. So around 7 avenues or 7 touch points that we have identified give us critical data about customer experience. Coming to the second part of your question, how do we maintain the quality of this data? So all this data is moderated through a team. We have a customer centricity team in the business, which is actually, though it reports into marketing, but because we are a manufacturing organization and all this data relates primarily to manufacturing also, the vertical has been sanitized from the impact of marketing or operations. It reports directly in a way to the MD. Okay, and so that there is no bias in any form that sets in. And this team actually validates all this data at a regular period. We sanitize it. There are regular audits which are done. Even the systems have been triggered in a way that if there's an exception beyond 20% to a customer's regular order process or stuff, then the system also triggers it to us. And very recently, we have moved to Microsoft Dynamics 365 as a CRM, which has some intuitive AI tools, which also triggers any escalations whenever there are any kind of exceptions to a regular pattern that a customer takes. So these certain validations, certain audits, and certainly a manual check by the effective team keeps the data in a, should I say, relatively stable and a secure space.
Great, great. So I believe like one of the misconceptions with most of the brands is that if you are having a full-fledged new age agile technology or the tech stack in place, then the data quality issue will be resolved. But I believe it's a kind of a multi-dimensional thing, which is like not only the technology for us is only an enabler. So I believe unless and until it is not flowing from top to bottom and the culture of kind of enhancing the customer experience by working on the data is not there, I believe technology alone will not be the savior for that.
Yeah, as you're absolutely right. Like Mr. Warren Buffett said in some of his statement, right? Culture eats strategy at the breakfast. So that's true. And I'm glad to say our leadership actually realized that despite the fact we are the majority stakeholders in the country, they wanted to bring customers. So the concept was to bring the customer to the boardroom. In fact, even today when there are certain board meetings, one seat is kept empty for the customer. That's the customer seat. Most of our critical XCOM meetings start with a customer call. We have started a concept of sometimes, we call it CEO Bana call center operator. So our senior functionaries actually call up the customers as a call center operative to understand what the customer is saying. So that culture part is absolutely spot on, as you rightly said. The second point, what we also realized with technology is that if you have different stacks of data in different levels, it doesn't yield a very proper, should I say, accurate insight. One thing which we were able to do very quickly was to bring all this data on one platform so that every data element, every touch point is talking to each other, and there's a valuable insight that comes from each of them, rather than them staying in the isolated silos. So this, should I say, the journey was to make data into information and then yield actions out of it. That was the journey we took.
Great, great. So, Suresh, coming to you, like we are talking about the data, and I believe like today, personalization and customization is something which has actually become a hygiene. It used to be a kind of a very, very big thing, maybe some 3 to 5 years back, but today any brand which is not personalizing their experience, that is considered to be a stone age brand, which is there. So just share your thoughts in terms of how your organization or specifically your team is kind of working on data to make sure that they are curating the experiences. I know like you are into a category which is actually kind of termed as a commodity, which is there, but yeah, how you are using the data to kind of customize the overall product in accordance with the customer's need.
Yeah, thanks. Being in insurance, we have, I'm in the general insurance space, so which means we cover everything other than life. So it's the entire spectrum is there. So the customer entry point for us can be through any of these routes. You can be a motor customer, you can be a travel customer, you can be, any of those customers. So in order to give the experience to the customer, one of the first things we need to do is first we need to be able to identify the customer. So one of the things that we have done over time is, built a COE for, tagging a customer as a unique customer. And then, seeing based on the, interplay that he's already had with us, trying to create an experience at the runtime, when he's, on our website or through our, app, mobile app, anything. We try to take him through a different journey altogether to give him that personalized experience. Because today, everything is digital. Very few people actually walk into our office to take all those eras gone. So then how am I going to differentiate? So if, for example, there's a customer who's got a motor policy or he's got a health policy and if he's had a claim experience, how good is the experience? So we have all the data beforehand, at the time when the customer just logs in and then, we, based on the mobile number or any of his social media, credentials, we automatically present that to him and take him through a totally different journey. In order to do this, the back end, in our business, if you see one of the things that happens is, insurance is not something which people actually stand in the queue and take. It's basically, to still a great extent a push product. Barring motor where it is mandatory. During the Corona days, COVID days, we saw there's a huge uptake on health. And as soon as it opened up, we have seen a dip there. And we even saw some cases where people have come and surrendered their policy. So it is still viewed as a, if I have some spare cash, I will take. So especially in the home segment, hardly any penetration. So like we were discussing during the break. So one of the things that, we try to do is for example, in our business, for the customer, the actual experience is only at 2 points, when he's, scouting on the net or in the social media to see what a strategy got to offer. So there's a touch point at that moment in terms of is he going to buy or not, what is this kind of journey that he's doing. The most important thing is moment of truth is when there's a claim. If an existing customer, how smooth was the claim settlement experience, how quickly was he able to, again, taking a simple example like motor, he's got a bang in the middle of somewhere. Are we able to provide roadside assistance immediately to him? Is there somebody, if it's a very small dent, how quickly I settle the claim without him having need to come to our office and lodge the claim. So there have been tools done. So all this is possible because, we have ensured that we are able to identify him quickly and be able to, offer the service that he or she is expecting at that instant. From a sales perspective, at the end of the day, while we have the customer data and even identify, from a business standpoint, you need to have a lot of a good strategy in terms of what exactly you want to pitch to the customer. Like motor is a given. He has to take, most of the other companies, our competitors will, if you see the premium side, it will be more or less same. So somewhere there's a price factor also that comes in. Is he a customer, based on his, past claim experience and how long loyalty with me? Can I offer him a lower price? Pricing also is a very important point. So when it comes to product, in terms of pricing and in terms of what is bundled in the product. I mean, when I offer a motor, again, a simple example, there are add-ons. There's a nil depreciation. There's a coverage for, the tires, etc. Today these are all expensive items. When you offer this to a customer, I mean, I may not want to offer to everybody. I mean, if he's a first timer, then maybe or I may want to offer to everybody, but price it differently. So data, unless I have a very accurate data of who the person is, it's going to be very difficult to, pitch in the product. So we need to have a strategy behind the data. I mean, otherwise in our business, it is going to be tough. I mean, because data today is available. I mean, we also, like others, we can give you a quotation for your car insurance if you just take a snap of your registration number and tell us, we know about you. Because there are a lot of agencies which are interplaying in the industry. These are all freely available. Like, you don't need to, it's no big thing. Then, so does others. So then why is he going to come to Tata? I mean, not necessarily because of brand. The service and what is being offered matters a lot with the price point.
So I believe, like, as a consumer, like, whenever we are talking about the insurance industry, so like there is one term which comes to everyone's mind, which is the fine print. Because many a times it's a kind of in the hurry of kind of buying the insurance product, you will simply be going through the 143 line items which are there, and straight away you say agree to terms and conditions. So what are some of the, I would say, the data points which are being considered when specifically by the underwriters who are there to make sure that you are giving a kind of a product which is actually in sync with the requirement of the customer and there is no ambiguity in terms of any dispute?
Yeah, see, that is what you're saying is the word you used was, underwriting. When it comes to retail, I mean, India being the volume of population that we have, when it comes to retail, prior, if you go back 20 years, when PUCs were there, every single two-wheeler also used to be inspected and, actually evaluated what is the worth. There's an IDV. So today we have, scales, rates, etc. for most of the segments, that you want to pitch in. So what we do is segment, what we take data, we break it into various segments, then based on the experience of the performance of that segment, we have predefined rules which is offered to the customer. So because one of the important things which today you will find in most cases, there are a lot of complaints where they say at the time of selling your salesperson didn't tell me this, but when I made a claim they refused. So very clearly, products are designed in a manner, especially if it's a very off-the-shelf product. You will have certain basic things there and you don't actually need to read. Because even in life, if you see, term policies, they offer you a set of, what is offering very clearly upfront. There's no question of mis-selling or a, misrepresentation. So again, data helps in terms of whom they need to offer. I will not offer this to, everybody. I mean, we have seen ads on TV where the police comes and immediately policy comes. I mean, many times you need to know where the vehicle is, right? So the same thing we do at the time of claims. We have devised using these, using latest technology. We have mechanism where the customer himself can take. We have told him, what photos he should take from which angle, and then he just uploads. And if it is fine, I mean, we have experienced panel sitting behind. They analyze and then automatically they settle. You don't even need to come to office or lodge the claim. Just all happens on an SMS. So that's how the differentiation happens.
Sure. Thank you. So Joiestin, like whenever we talk about, I would say, innovation, I think the first industry which comes at the top is the automobile. Because every time, like whenever some new model is getting launched or so, though in all fairness, I would say though there would be not much of the changes and just the kind of a cosmetic changes it would be there. But still, like when it comes to the automation, so I believe like automobile industry has come a very, very long way in that thing. And there is like some new concepts in terms of the connected vehicles and stuff like that. So like how you are actually utilizing the data in terms of, I would say on real-time basis, monitoring the health of the vehicle in the connected vehicle environment.
Good afternoon. I am from Ashok Leyland Limited. We are one of the largest commercial vehicle manufacturers in the country. We see advertisements in the TV saying connected vehicles. With respect to cars, you would have seen a lot of advertisements in the TVs, but less amount of information is available. Ye truck mein kya ho raha hai? What is happening in the truck? So we started having this connected concept long back. That is, we have fitted this. Sometimes we call it as a GPS device, but it is not just a GPS device which is fitted on the vehicle. We collect a lot of information. So if you see a truck, there are various stakeholders in a truck. First is a vehicle owner of the vehicle. Then we have the driver G, pilot. who drives the vehicle. And depending upon the fleet size, we have got fleet managers who manage the fleet. There are various stakeholders. And it is essential that we pass on the information, the right information about his or her vehicle to them in the right time, and so that he is able to take the action which is beneficial for his business. So at Ashok Leyland, if you see in a day, around 5 to 10 terabytes of data is getting collected from our vehicles. So that is a quantum of data which is getting accumulated in our service every day. So we collect around 160, 170 parameters of a vehicle. Not only, typically what we think is GPS means, where is that vehicle? Kidhar hai? Not only that. So now we have got a lot of technology, sensors, so many things in the vehicle. We can capture each and every, so many things, vitals, vehicle health, so many things can be captured from the vehicle. We collect around 160 to 160 parameters every 6 seconds from the vehicle, and it is available on our server, and it is processed real time. For example, if a vehicle is going on a vehicle, you will have a dashboard. You would have seen the dashboard on a typical car. Same, on a truck also, we have a dashboard. My team sitting in the office control room, they'll be able to see the same dashboard sitting in the office. We can create a digital twin. So whatever is visible on the dashboard, it is visible to me in the office because of this connected technology. So I know what is exactly happening on the vehicle. So in case something is wrong, is going to happen, or something is malfunctioning in the vehicle, I get alerted. So we have a concept called smart tickets. So suppose the vehicle is traveling near Mumbai, and some engine, something is about to go wrong. So the system detects itself. It creates a smart ticket. So the smart ticket, suppose I have a service center in Mumbai, and the vehicle is near Mumbai, that smart ticket will flow to my workshop in Mumbai, and it will say that such a vehicle is near you, and this problem may occur. And the same is communicated to the various stakeholders of the customer also. So even before a failure could happen on the vehicle, you can prevent it. So in a truck industry, downtime is very critical. You can't keep the truck just off-road, and once it is down, so it may take some time to, if it is a major complaint, we have to wait for some time. And the expenses involved in the repair and maintenance is, in case if it is a bigger complaint, it is going to cost him. So this connected technology, connected vehicle technology, will be able to predict in case of any major failure is going to come, and we will warn the customers and will take preventive or proactive steps. So we call this terminology as prognostics. So we have heard about diagnostics. So we are going one step ahead, and we are calling it prognostics, predicting the failure. So we are able to now predict if anything is going to go wrong in the vehicle, and we alert the various stakeholders, my customer, my dealer, and we ensure that the necessary action is taken so that the damage doesn't happen to the vehicle, and we can continue. We can rectify at the right time. We have saved a lot of money to the customer as well as to the company because of this connected vehicle technology. So you would have heard about passenger car vehicles where you see that they are able to transmit data over the air. So truck mein hoga kya? Truck mein bhi ho raha. And we started it long back. Suppose, so nowadays all the trucks, so we have BS6 emissions in place. The trucks are no more controlled by mechanical steps. It is microprocessor which is controlling the truck. So sitting in my office, in case I need to optimize the truck, I need to change the calibration in the truck, I need to change this data set in the microprocessor on the truck, sitting in my office I can do that. So we call it as FOTA, flashing over the air. So sitting in my office, I can change the calibration on the vehicle and I can optimize. In case an upgraded version is required, I can do it sitting in my office. So this is one. Second, there are so many use cases because of this connected things. So you know that in India, the driver community, driver G, so a lot of training need to be given to them. They are not, so like a passenger car driver, he's not so sophisticated, or it doesn't, so now with a lot of technology coming on the vehicle, sometimes he gets confused. So it is our responsibility as an OEM to ensure that he's not confused. The product should be user-friendly. It is my responsibility to ensure that he understands the product very well. So using these connected technology vehicle, now I'm able to see how he is driving the vehicle. Whether he is running the vehicle idling a lot of time, he is pressing the brakes too many times, is he doing cornering too many times. Sitting in my office, I can evaluate the driver behavior, and I can also give a score to him. I train him. I give a display on my dashboard saying that this is the way you're driving, and through our apps, we give the communication to the respective fleet manager and fleet owner saying that this is the way your driver is driving the vehicle, and you can modify certain things so that you can optimize the performance. So we even say that if you drive this way or that way, or in this particular way, you will be able to achieve a better performance or better KMPL, diesel mileage. So these things are being given. There is also a concept where sometimes you would have seen the truck drivers, when they go downhill, there is a concept called in trucks where in order to save fuel, they neutral mein chalana. So they put the vehicle in neutral gear. Sometimes we also do in our cars, we think that it will save petrol. So we put it in the neutral gear, say, gaadi aise automatically ja raha, jane do. So in truck customers, drivers also, when there is a down gradient, there is a habit of them to put it in the neutral gear and run the vehicle. But it is very dangerous for the vehicle, and it is very dangerous for the safety. So my technology will be able to predict that when a driver is trying to do neutral, and if he's trying to do overspeeding, that is wheel driving the engine. Engine should drive the wheel should not drive the engine. If it is doing the opposite, my technology will be able to predict that. So what we do is we do analytics, and we see which are the people doing all this activity, and we proactively call those drivers, we train them. Bhaiya, this is not the way you should, aapko diesel nahi bachega, something else will happen if you do this way. So we call them, we train them, we do, with COVID period, we are interacting with drivers on Teams. So we are doing Teams training with the drivers, because he can able to see on the phone, we call him, make a video call with them and train them, this is not the way to drive, this is the way you should drive. And many times it happens that we require a lot of input in our product development. So we are bringing out a lot of variants, and in the truck industry, the mileage, diesel mileage, the product performance is very key, and we need to continuously improve our vehicle. This connected vehicles technology, we are able to gather a lot of information from the vehicle. For example, we'll know what is a gear utilization, which gear was driving. So for this particular road load condition, what should be the gear utilization, which gear you should travel, and we can make variations in the product based on the road and load, and depending upon that. We are also able to do how the traffic is distributed across the country, which road the trucks are moving, where are the trucks parked, which are the hubs, when are they entering the warehouses. With the geofencing technology, we are also able to do all these things. So there are so many use cases like this with respect to connected technology. So many things are happening in the truck, and we are going to bring in a lot of disruptions in the trucking with the use of this connected technology.
That's great, that's great. So I believe it's a very interesting take in terms of the prognostic model which is there. Yeah. So Mitesh, coming to you again from the insurance industry, I believe so there is a thumb rule, whenever there is a scarcity of resources, you will tend to use that wisely. But whenever these are in abundance, you tend to lose control of that thing. And I believe same is happening with data also. Because today, in terms of the data which is getting generated, that is humongous. So when the data points are there, so I would say specifically for your industry, I believe the margin of error is something which we really have to take care of. Because again, people are trusting the insurance company, whenever, God forbid, anything goes wrong, the information which is available with the insurance company, they will be kind of utilizing that and paying us for whatever loss which we have incurred. So how technology and data is being leveraged upon just to make sure that the margin of error is being reduced and the product efficiency or the service efficiency is up to the mark?
That's a good question, and we come from an insurtech. Symbo is an insurtech primarily. So what Srinivas is also saying, see, one of the biggest problem in the industry which lies is the problem of what we call sanitized data. We all have a lot of data, but the lack of sanitized data has always led to data being used more for analytics purpose, but that analytics never converts into decision making, right? And as a company, that's what we are trying to solve differently. We believe that data analysis or use of data has to be a continuous process. Moment you make it a continuous process, wherein saying using data you have made a certain decision, right? Now actually input the output of that decision again into this data and see if it's an outlier, it's inline, or it's erroneous data, right? And based on that, continuously keep evolving what decisions you are making using your data. That's how eventually your data gets more and more corrected. I don't think there is ever a state of zero data error. That's euphoria. I don't think that exists, and that probably is not something which will exist in next few years. But moment you keep on taking that margin of error down, then it becomes more and more correct. And from a customer perspective, you are then giving a more personalized experience, what we all are speaking about, right? Because right now, unfortunately, our industry is still, when we say user personalization, and correct me, we are still doing segmentation of users, right? We are still far away from a point wherein I can actually do n equal to 1, wherein I'm not only customizing the experience, but actually customizing the product for the user, right? My requirement of health could be very different from his requirement for health. My pricing for motor should be very different from his pricing for motor, because I only drive my car once a week, right? Hence, ideal product for me should be a product which gives me more benefit for total damage of the car which is lying in the garage versus something which covers me for accidental damage. Unfortunately, that level of customization has not come in, but that's what a company like Symbo, we are trying to solve, not at a motor level, but other experiences, right? And actually, we have to take this data along with its error to the next step, identify the next need of that customer from a risk protection and a risk mitigation perspective. So just to give you a sense, we started with a product which we said, okay, looks very stupid from an insurance parlance, but we do a spectacle insurance, right? Okay. Because the perception of risk everywhere existing, okay, my spectacle will break. That exists with all of us. We said, can we start with that and identify what is the next need? So what we took that is saying, okay, once somebody who has bought in spectacle insurance, and we have around, to everybody's surprise, we have around 60 million people who have bought this, right? Now take that, out of those, take people who have high eye power and build them a health insurance which covers them for eye ailment, because that is the risk which exists, right? Now using this all is possible only if you can use this sanitized data and have the ability to process this data at volume. And you have to continuously correct this data, like you said, continuously feed in the output into the new tree and get more and more, remove out your outliers, erroneous data, exactly to get to a point which, so I think the fight is saying, can you get to 99.98, 99.99, 99.999% accuracy? I don't think we are ever hitting 100 in that sense, right? But we got to live with it. It's better than what we are doing today. We are segmenting all users into 25% each, right? So I think that's still
great.
Better.
That's great. So also, like you touched base upon a very important point in terms of the decision making which has to be enabled through the data. Because I believe, like, again, if you just talk about a typical data life cycle, so it starts from the data, moves to information, then the insights, and then the impact. So impact is something which every brand should be having in mind when they are working on the data. Harkaran, coming to you, hospitality industry, like I personally believe the origin of customer experience happened in hospitality industry, because like it clearly operates on a funda of home away from home. Whenever you are out, whether for business or for leisure, like you need someone who can just kind of anticipate or understand your needs and then just pamper you in a way in which you need to be there. Long back, not exactly long back, I would say like maybe 7 to 8 years back, hospitality industry was all about operations excellence. But now lately, most of the hospitality brands have realized the importance of data also and technology also, and it's a kind of a multi-dimensional ecosystem in which they are working just to make sure that the guest experience which they want to enhance, that is in conjunction with the data points and the technology which is there. So from your experience, like what are some of the, I would say, the use cases or the insights which you will be able to share in terms of how hospitality is using the data and technology in that sense?
Thank you, Dilpreet. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. No, great. Thank you for, of course, having us and organizing this panel. Dilpreet, fabulous job. And my appreciation to all the panel holders here. I think a really good insight. Now you see, guys, can I hear a yes from everyone? Are you guys listening? Yes. Louder? Yes. Okay, good. See that the industry which we are in, the most difficult thing on the planet is to make human happy. And you are in the business of humans, dealing with humans, and try to make everybody happy, whoever is walking into the hotel. Because you deal with the complaints, like I was dealing with a guest a few days back, where he says, I don't like your hotel. And I said, why? Because it keeps raining outside. Right? So and then your reply is, absolutely, let me do something about it. Right? So we are in the business of making things possible for everyone who walks into the hotel. And of course, in the old days, the business was run with a lot of assumptions and gut feel. And I think with the complete data management integration which has happened, the approach has become more scientific. And it gives you much more realistic understanding of the holistic business so that you can really approach every customer depending on what his history has been in your hotel or in any other hotel he has been stayed. There has been a very good study which has happened which says that any organization who does a good data management setup, their profitability goes up by 8% and their cost reduces by 4%. And that's a fact, because once you get into the very scientific approach of dealing and using the database to your advantage, it really helps, because in the end, it's all about repeat customers. And nowadays, from a hotel perspective, every hotel has similar set of facilities, right? You will have the same restaurant, you will have a gym, you will have a spa, you will have a banquet space. The differentiation is only how are you yielding your every customer walking in, and how are you managing their expectations. And all of that comes if you have knowledge of each customer, right? So you see, as an organization, we deal with multiple tools to manage the database. For example, to manage the guest expectations and guest experience, we use Review Pro. Now, Review Pro is a module where you manage the guest experience in two ways. One is the guests who are staying in the hotel, and after they have stayed with you, they check out and they get an online form where you have to rank the hotel in all the services parameters which you have experienced. So it will be right from your arrival experience to your check-in, check-out, breakfast, room condition, room cleanliness, friendliness of the staff, maintenance of the hotel, basically 360-degree review where you will be scored by the in-house user who's staying with you. Then there is another module which is called GRI, which is Guest Review Index, where wherever your hotel has been marked in the social media space, so let it be Make My Trip or Booking.com or Google or TripAdvisor, this portal will collate data from all of these platforms and give you a scoring. So you will exactly know that how each and every customer walking into the hotel, irrespective of staying with you or not staying with you, is scoring you, and you can map your performance against your competition. So in the end, the data which we get and we analyze is, for example, in last 1 week, how many complaints have come from a breakfast point of view? How many complaints have come from an arrival experience point of view? How many guests have complained about the TV not working, or how many guests complained about the AC not working? And once you have a quantitative understanding of the entire issue, you're able to control and manage the guest expectations better. Now, another way of looking at it is, like for example, another revenue management tool which we use to collect data is OTA Insight or an STR, right, which helps you to understand the market demand and occupancy. That this week, what are the big exhibitions, what are the big conferences, or what are the big events happening in the city, which will help you to analyze how your occupancy and how your rate strategy will plan in your hotel. And accordingly, you can plan your manning, you can plan your food costs, you can plan your the breakfast operations and your room operations and your offs. And all of that helps you to manage your hotel efficiencies in a better way. So I think all of that put together really gives you a very holistic understanding in terms of how do you manage your overall guest experience and the revenue management at a hotel level. But just to add on that there are a few points which I've noted down, how the overall database management helps you. One is, of course, to understand the customer behavior pattern, which I've just discussed with you. Second is that the life cycle of the data also is very, very important because, see, the data is only relevant at the specific time period, and the trends are changing, and the technology is changing, and the customer behavior is changing. So you have to keep updating yourself. For example, somebody who likes fish for a specific time of month, it doesn't mean that every time he walks in, then you will offer him fish. So you have to keep yourself updated that how the customer behavior is changing. Now, for example, now I told you about scientific and being assumptuous, right? So now if I walk into any of my hotel, now because of the attire I have and the region I belong, well, I'm from Bombay, but of course people will say I'm from Punjab. I will be offered automatically a butter chicken without even asking. So I said, no, sir, butter chicken for you. No, I said, I didn't order for it. No, sir, I am sure you like it. No, I don't like it. But my habits are very different because I've never stayed in Punjab. I've always been in Bombay. So that's where, we have to be very, very understandable about that you should not, just by looking at the attire. So one of my colleagues, his name is Javed Ali. So when he walks into the hotel, he gets Nalli Nihari and Halim without even asking, just because his name is Javed Ali, right? So that's where I think the data management helps you to handle your business more appropriately.
That's great.
Right.
The insights are great. So just, I would say, I think we just have maybe less than 10 minutes now. So to start with, maybe Suresh, some of the emerging trends and like how the big data will shape up the future for your industry.
If you see big data, I mean, from an insurance perspective, we never touched upon in this discussion the commercial side of insurance. Those are the large insurance things that we do. And for example, just to give a random example, if you see Tata AG offers, one of the best products in cyber insurance. We have a good product. Now, today, insurance has gone beyond just, being a risk protection mechanism. So many of the customers, especially on the commercial side, they expect a sort of advisory, from us for those areas. So talking of cyber, it's not just saying that, look, I'll cover these risks under these circumstances, but also I provide an advisory saying that what are the precautions he or she can take, for which we need data, either from partners or our ecosystem and expertise in that area to be able to offer that. So that is one big area where, a lot of center of excellence created in each of those, line of business, as we call LOBs. We have people who are specialized on that. Coming back to retail, it is in terms of, what Mitesh was also explaining. Today, we cannot offer a product on the fly, in the sense that if you see in insurance, the product is nothing but a bundle of things which you cover and bundle of things you don't cover. That's very simply put. So can I offer a customer in terms of, if I find that in a travel, for example, one of the standard covers are, trip delay or baggage loss. If I find that, my portfolio is bleeding on trip delay in a particular segment or baggage loss in a particular segment, can I still offer the product minus that cover, on the runtime? Earlier, there were some restrictions in terms of, these are treated as variants, product variants. And regulator said that, variant, is it a new product or the same product? But today, they have also become a little bit relaxed. So ability to offer to a customer based on his profile, saying that, look, this is best suited for you. I think that's going to be a big thing because, like I said, insurance is still a lot of push. I mean, today also when most of the policies get sold saying that mere ko return kya milte hain. So it's the term concept is thanks to sometime maybe a wrong word, but these kind of cat events that happen, they force people to say, look, it is better to have a policy because the cost factor goes. Now, barring that, it is still a good extent of push. So when for that, then the only option left for you is to customize and give the best experience, and there also, I mean, is it a vehicle which is, because we never spoke on the fraud side and claim side. So based on that data also, what I can offer best. So that's going to be the way forward.
Great. Shantanu, today, everyone, like whosoever we speak with, I believe they will not be able to speak for more than 5 minutes without using words like AI, NLP, and I would say machine learning. So are these actually the buzzwords, or brands are utilizing it in a way which is actually making an impact?
Yeah, so interesting question, Dilpreet, because just yesterday I was reading an article which was about this lady called Jade, somewhere in Europe. She had a rough breakup, it seems, and she went on Tinder, right? And European data laws are rather strict, right? So she approached Tinder because she was not probably getting what she wanted. And she asked Tinder to share the data back. And after some 7-8 months, Tinder actually shared her a 240-pager report about herself. She was on Tinder for around 3 weeks, right? And to her surprise, she found that Tinder knew her much better than what she knew about herself. So Tinder knew what she ate in the morning, what kind of guys does she like, what is her birthday, when this morning when she likes coffee, whenever she's in that specific area. So data and personalization are going to be the next step in. Technology will always help you to provide the speed, agility, and real connect to understand it much faster, make it much more accurate. That's what the role technology will keep on playing. And with this all AIs and chat GPTs that are coming in, they will make it much more faster, much more, to a certain level, dangerous also, but that's a separate topic though. But I guess the buzzwords, as you said, they are really going to be the next step of evolution of businesses also. Like I'm pretty sure the hospitality is now looking at connecting the data. So I was at one of the hotels, I won't name him because it's a competitor brand though. But when I reached, they knew what kind of food I like. So the menu that was set was already accordingly, right? So that is the level of personalization which I think people will start moving into as we go ahead. And technology is just going to be enabled, and we're at just a start of it.
Great, great. Mitesh, I would say when I'm talking about our typical human tendency, whenever we're buying any product, I would say 7 out of 10 people, what they will be doing is that they will simply be kind of sorting in terms of the price low to high. Does same apply for insurance also? If not, then what are some of the factors which, as a responsible brand, you are communicating to the potential customers or the existing customers that this is not the only factor?
No, I think fortunately, and I cannot pinpoint the reason, but I think insurance has moved beyond pricing alone. Other than commoditized sectors, at least our experience has been saying of the 10 things that the product offers, to each customer, if you can highlight a thing where you think the perception of that particular risk is high in the customer's mind, and you can identify the point at which that perception exists, then price almost becomes a secondary point. So, and that's true, I think, for all industries, not insurance alone. As long as you can identify the point in time when the need of the product exists and explain the product in a way that appeals to the customer individually, then price always becomes the secondary factor. Moment we start saying, my product is same as yours, but I am cheaper, if our positioning is that, then of course price will continue to play. But I think most financial products are now moving away from it. So we are well placed, and that's all courtesy data again, right? So.
Great. Joiestin, you spoke about commercial vehicles, so I believe big chunk of cost is actually, it's a very, very capital intensive business which is there, and I believe something like a protection of these commercial vehicles in the form of the warranty and all, so that is something which is very, very critical. So there is this, I would say, a new kid on the block specifically for the commercial unit, which would be, I would say, the AI warranty management. So in that case, again, is it completely automated or some level of human intervention is still there?
Yeah, we have started working on using artificial intelligence and machine learning in warranty management at Ashok Leyland. So you know that what is warranty, right? When you buy a product, they give warranty. So highest warranty, what you would have heard about is refrigerator compressor 10 years warranty on refrigeration compressor. This is what you would have heard. Other parts 1 year, 2 year. Typical mobile phone 1 year warranty. For Ashok Leyland truck, as of now, we have for our heavy commercial vehicles, we are giving 6 years, 6 lakhs kilometers warranty. So that is the duration which we are talking about. So it is a very, very long duration, and that is any manufacturing defect which is happening in this period, we need to take care of it. So it is a very long duration, and there is a lot of cost is involved. And the idea is to get the information about the product, what is happening in the product, so that we can improve upon the product very well. So Ashok Leyland doesn't directly administer warranty. That is, we have our own dealers. So we sell our vehicles through our dealers. We have our authorized service centers, dealers who repair these vehicles. So they in turn pass on the warranty benefits to the customer, and they in turn claim it on Ashok Leyland. So lot of claims come in every day. So it is becoming very difficult to understand the data and see how we can make use of it. One is I should settle those claims to the dealer. Second is what information I can extract so that I will improve my product. So these two things are big challenge. So we have started working into usage of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we are building a model where the artificial intelligence learns the pattern in which the claims are arriving, which area, Tamil Nadu, what does it come, Karnataka, what does it come, how the dealers are behaving, how the claims are getting raised. All these things now will go through a AI module. It will validate whether is there anybody raising a false claim, how good is this, is it worth to settle this claim, what kind of information I can extract from this. Everything it is passed on, the model itself works on, and it will say that it will filter certain claims and say that this needs to go for a higher level of validation. So it goes to a separate team where that team will evaluate and see is there any further thing to be done or not. So like this model will learn by itself, and certain things, if the machine learning tools feels that this claim doesn't require any checking or whatever it is, it will go for automatic settlement. This way what happens is, see as I said, we are giving 6 years, 6 lakhs warranty. We need to give decision back to the customer in the quickest possible time. You can't hand over the truck to the service center and say, I will take 2-3 days to give my decisions. We need to give the decision within few minutes. We need to tell them whether I will do this case under warranty or not. So we have got tools in place where this decision making is becoming faster, and we are still in the starting phase. We are going to do a lot of things in this so that the frontline person, he will be able to take decisions the quickest possible time and tell the customers. Not only that, just giving the decisions, we should tell the customer why this decision. So it is not easy to convince a truck customer saying that why I'm not going to give this warranty. We need to explain what went wrong, what was a type of failure, was it any usage related problem. And this is also backed by whatever I said earlier, the connected vehicles. We should tell him, so this is the way you drove the vehicle, this is the way the system data is saying. So we tell him with showing data points, if you have done it this way, your truck could have been performed better. So all these things, we pass on the information to the customer. Since we are now telling the customer the facts and figures, he is also convinced. So yes, these people are really telling something right. Otherwise, they are telling some facts. So they are also happy that, and some customers come back and say that, okay, sir, next time onwards, I will take care of whatever tips you have given us. We will take care and we'll ensure that the product is being run in a better way. So like this, we have got so many things coming on the way. So hope the years will be very exciting for us.
Great, thanks for sharing that. Harkaran, coming to you, I believe guest service or customer service is considered to be a thankless job. You deliver, I would say, 100 delightful experiences people will not even acknowledge, but the one subpar experience and everyone talks about that thing. So like how data and technology can be used to operate on a model which is C2C, which is complaint to compliments.
Yeah, you see, as I said, there are 3 big tools which we are working on. One is, it's all about gathering knowledge, right? But it's all about understanding how each day is behaving. So there's one of the tools which we use is called Hotel Kit. Now, Hotel Kit is basically the complaint management software, where after 1 month of collection of the data, you will exactly know how many water bottle requests came in on one day, how many room cleaning requests came in on one day, how many AC complaints came in, which room number had major issues, and how many times that room number went, had people staying in that room number had complaints. So then that's a app which is in everybody's phone in my hotel, in every employee, every supervisor, every manager. So if room number 220 calls up and says, I need water bottle, that record goes into the app, the message goes directly to the department, and then in 5 minutes time, the request is delivered. And then if again that room number calls in after 30 minutes and say more water bottles, then automatically the bell rings that this room needs more requirement of water bottles. So by the end of the day, when the room gets done, you will have extra water bottles or extra green tea bags or extra whatever requirement is coming in. So that personalization happens once we have the data coming in on a day-to-day basis, and there is a weekly review meeting which we do to make sure and to analyze the trend. The second part is, let's say for example in restaurants, right? Initially the days were to maintain the data in the registers and guest number, phone number, email ID. So now it's all tab-based, where automatically you have the entire table management software on the system. You allocate table numbers as per the reservation. People will walk in, you know their specifications, dietary specifications, special occasions, repeat customer, high spender, and all of that can be tracked in one touch button in that software. And you know that this guest is a high spender, this guest is a repeat customer, this guest had an issue last time, this guest has a special occasion, and then you customize and curate the experience accordingly. And of course, the point is that yes, there will be mistakes, but then as much we should avoid repeating the mistakes and give them a seamless experience. That's the endeavor.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. So just to conclude the discussion which we had, so I would say 3 important takeaways. Number 1, technology is just an enabler, and design thinking is something which we need to work on. Second is culture is very, very important, and it's very crucial to invest in culture. Third important aspect is, and this is something which is, I would say, every brand should understand, that customer experience is not a destination but a journey, and it is ever evolving, and as and when required, and you want to make some tweaks and all, it has to be done. So thank you, everyone. Do we have time for questions?
I think, Dilpreet ji, we are already a little over time.
Okay.
So what I suggest is maybe we can take one quick question,
Sure.
and of course the esteemed panel members are available post the panel session. So if you have questions further, you can always reach out to them. So in the interest of the time, we'll take one question. Can we have the mic for the gentleman? Sir, I request you to please keep your hand raised. And just for the interest of this time, sir, if you could keep the question short and crisp, that will be highly appreciable. Please do introduce yourself, your organization, and question to any particular panel member. Else, if it is a generic one, I think Dilpreet ji is the right person to decide.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Manish Sharma from HDFC Bank. My question is to Joiestin David. So you stated that with connected technology, you are understanding the pattern of driving styles, behavior, speed, each and everything. Correct. So when your company is planning to introduce ADITYA system in your trucking business industry?
So there are so many technologies in pipeline. So certain things, if you see the truck industry, so if you enter into our R&D department, you can see all the technologies there. Only thing is you don't see them on the road because of cost factor. So that the truck market is very much price conscious. That is, so a lot of times it requires regulation to push in the technology. So we need to make it compulsory, then the customer are ready to buy it. So customers, if you see, they are technology averse. If you say a typical truck driver, with technology coming in, so they are saying they're pressing the panic button. That is, I don't want all these things. Now it is responsible to the OEM to say that don't be scared, we are there to support you. So all these latest technologies, driver assistance system, so artificial intelligence in driving, so many things, and you know that we are also entering into all the various alternate fuels. We are into, so many things, research is going on, and we have products ready, trials are going on, so many things are happening, but it requires a right time those products to come into the market. Technology is available with us. So if you can visit to our plant, we will be able to showcase you what are the areas we are working on. So future is very bright and it is very exciting. A lot of things are going to happen in the automobile industry. So with very soon we'll be able to see so many things on the road, in the truck also. Not only on the car, even in trucks we'll have so many things.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.
And ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for this wonderful panel here. And beautifully moderated by Mr. Dilpreet Singh, Head Loyalty CRM from ITC. Now I would request Mr. Kirti Vivek Muniappan from SAP APJ to kindly do the honors of felicitating this wonderful panel of experts. Thank you so much, Mr. Muniappan, for doing the honors. We'll start with Mr. Suresh K, Head of IT for Tata AIG Insurance. A big round of applause to Suresh Ji for his very insightful contribution in the panel session. Thank you so much, Suresh Ji. Next, we have Mr. Shantanu Garg, Vice President Marketing for ADITYA BIRLA GRASIM Industries. Thank you so much, Shantanu Ji, for your wonderful contribution in the panel. Next, we have Mr. Mitesh Jain, co-founder and CTO from Symbo Insurance. Thank you so much, Mitesh Ji, for your wonderful contribution in the panel session. Next, we have Mr. Joiestin David, Head Service Excellence from Ashok Leyland. Thank you so much, Mr. David, for your wonderful contribution in the panel session. Next, we have Mr. Harkaran Sethi, General Manager, Radisson Blue, Mumbai International Airport. Thank you so much, Mr. Sethi, for your wonderful contribution in the panel session. And now I would like to call our honorable moderator, Mr. Dilpreet Singh, Head Loyalty CRM from ITC. Thank you so much, Dilpreet Ji, for wonderfully moderating the panel session. Would request the honorable panel members to kindly come forward for a group photograph, and Mr. Muniappan, if you could also join them for the group photo. A big round of applause again, ladies and gentlemen. Big data and data analytics, revolutionizing the customer experience, and wonderful panel of experts here. And thank you so much to each and every panel member for their valuable contribution. And thank you so much, Dilpreet Ji, for wonderfully moderating that session. Thank you, Mr. Muniappan, for doing the honors.